hopefully you are all out there enjoying this beautiful first Friday afternoon, feeling the love. We certainly are feeling it here, and we're going to keep that feeling going. Barb we've got Zakriya on the phone. Zach, are you out there?
Yeah, hey, I'm right here.
All right. I'm going to let these guys take it away.
All right. So we got Zakriya on the line, and I'm going to read his bio because I absolutely love it. So
Oh, boy.
I know. So Zakriya Rabani is a first-generation human. Given a different last name than both of his parents, he has grown as a Southwest Floridian with a misunderstanding of who he is. His influences consist of the relentless, repetitive nature of the blue-green crashing waves, the push for strategic explosions of energy in the world of sport and competition, as well as an obsession of contending with present-day educational institutional structures whose systems have deeply affected his process for thinking. Rabani challenges the perception of structures, systems, patterns of man by using his own absurd experiences to fuel his art practice. I love that. I think that's so awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and it resonates because I feel like you're here to push art. You know, it's not that art is here to push you. You're really using it to challenge these systems, and so I really support that. So currently you are over at Anderson Ranch, and I was wondering if you could introduce a little bit about what you do over there.
Sure. Yeah, I work at Anderson Ranch Art Center here in Snowmass Village, Colorado. I am the studio coordinator of sculpture. So we have other departments: ceramics, printmaking, photography, painting, woodworking, etc. And so each of those departments is a leader or a coordinator, and we run those departments. And so our job is to facilitate that studio, allow for a safe and a creative space for students and artists from all levels, ages, and from all over the world to come in and learn and make art.
Very cool. And so you've seen a lot of artists come and go at Anderson Ranch during your time there, and I'm wondering, how would you say 2020 has impacted Anderson Ranch, in terms of creativity as well as the style of the artists showing up?
Sure. I mean, well, in 2020, we canceled our entire program, summer program and everything. So it was really, really hard. I think a lot of us were kind of distraught, and with all the movements that were happening and super important, like systematic changes that were becoming more apparent, none of us really felt like we had a lot of weight to say much with our art. Like, it felt like our art maybe wasn't as strong as it needed to be in those moments. So a lot of us have been waiting and biding our time and trying to absorb what the world and what the U.S. has been giving us,
Absolutely. And I guess I'm just curious, how would you say 2020 has essentially impacted your creativity and vice versa? How has your creativity impacted the way you experience 2020?
Yeah, like I said, it's been hard. It really makes you sit down and think a lot longer. We have a couple sayings, making as a way of thinking. So you make a lot of work and allow the work to speak for itself in some ways. And thinking as a way of making. And right now, 2020 at least was a lot of thinking and writing and testing and drawing. And, being able to work at the ranch, I have essentially like every resource to make work. So you sit there in the room sometimes and just think like, the possibilities are limitless, but then where do you start? What do you feel has importance, and how can you begin to craft something together? But for us at the ranch and for us artists, outside of our time, it's been a kind of lonely, with no one around. As a normal summer, we'd have 200 or so students in each week, 200 different students every week that coming in and out with faculty and artists, and we didn't have any of that. I mean, we did pivot strongly and effectively for online classes. We were able to offer, I think, almost 50 different online workshops for students over the summer. And we created a lot of events. We did a sculpturally distanced sculpture park, and we did a twinkly light show near the wintertime. So we were able to adapt, and I think we did a great job, but it was difficult in during that time.
Absolutely. I think we're all learning how to adapt with what's going on, but it does show how resilient people are when they are challenged in that way. And I feel like artists, above all, really have that outlet and that malleability.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess one of the other questions I have really ties into your bio. So you mentioned that your parents gave you a last name that was different from theirs. And in some ways, that's lent itself to this misunderstanding of who you are.
Sure.
So I'm wondering, how has art played a role in really defining yourself and discovering who you are?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I didn't think about it a lot growing up, but, you say, oh, yeah, my mom is Shelley Smith and my dad is Anja Miftakar. And you're like, wait, you have a different last name than both of your parents. They're like, yeah. And so over time, you start to, develop yourself as a person, as an individual. And I love my name and my last name. And so then, with all my fictional readings and creativity and writing and always wanting to push the boundaries of things, like I started to think about, how do I create myself as myself? How do I create this as a first person who's ever done this? And I'm sure other people can feel this way in similar way and avenues, but that lent itself a lot to make me feel like I could do or be anything. And in the world of art, from what I've learned, is like anything is possible, conceptually, mentally, physically, spiritually. You have to, allow yourself to be open to those possibilities and really expand your mind and those perspectives. And then it's just trying. Like, is this possible? I don't know. Let's try it. Trial and error. Let's test it. Let's experiment. Let's do this. And if this doesn't work, then now we know that's not the way to do it, but now we know there's another way to do it. And so that kind of thinking, I just find profound. I just find it so much fun. And when you can add like a positive spin, high energy, try not to get down on yourself and just keep moving, it can be a really fun time, making work and just living in those moments.
Beautiful. And so really finding that learning by doing and not stopping just because one thing didn't work, but just continuing to try and really not being limited by some box.
Absolutely.
Pushing beyond it. Very cool. Well, maybe let's talk about your art, what you're bringing to Light the Night with Love. And I know it's not the first time that you've worked on this S thing.
Yeah.
Hoping you could tell more about it, because I'm not sure everyone will know. I was trying to describe it to some folks, and some people instantly got it and others didn't. So I want you to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, growing up, I was a little rebellious and, but just like a fun, energetic kid. And we would always, my group of friends and I, we would always draw on our desks and notebooks and doodle like many of us as kids. And there's one symbol that we would always draw, and it's this S, and it's like a pointy S. You essentially draw 6 lines, vertical lines, 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and then you can connect them in certain locations and kind of create this like optically illusionistic S. And we were obsessed with it. I mean, we just loved it. We had no idea where it came from. We just all learned it, and then we would draw it, and then we would build chains of it, and we would connect them. And I'm really into those moments, those things that happen to us as kids or at different points in our life. And it's just a fun, I think, symbol that links a lot of us. You said a lot of people instantly knew what you're talking about, or maybe they were unfamiliar, but then they got it later on. So last year, not 2020, but 2019, I had the opportunity to build a really large sculpture at a Franconia Sculpture Park in Minnesota. And it was one of those moments where it was like, I could pretty much think I can make whatever I want. What should I do? And so I thought, let's just try. Let's go big, or go home. And so I built a 27-foot pointy S in the middle of this gigantic art field. And that created a lot of avenues for me. There's an Instagram account called The S Thing, _S_thing. And he has followers, up to like 26,000 followers, where people will draw this S, tattoos, drawings, paintings, digital animations. People from all over the world, all different ages, kids, adults, elder folk. And they'll send them to this account and they'll post them. And so I've been in contact with this account over the years, and it's just a symbol that I feel strongly about. And I don't think about it too conceptually at times, but I love the thought that just one symbol can link all of us together in such a simple way. It's just a quick, immediate way. And, especially in 2020 when there was a lot of, political things going on and systematic changes, we like this symbol was a way for me to connect with you. And like, if we can all find common ground if we just try to look for the thing that links us together. And so I think about this piece in that way.
That's very beautiful, and I appreciate you really tying into the, I feel like it really ties into the theme of Light the Night with Love, which is about fostering that connection, and that we can always find common ground. It doesn't matter where you're from, what you believe in, if anything, the common ground is we all have hearts and they beat, and we all want to feel love and be loved and love one another. It's
absolutely, yeah.
If we work towards that, if we focus on that, and how can we focus on cultivating that love, that gratitude, that appreciation for what makes us different, but starting with that common ground, because I think it really helps to help us move forward through this coming year as a unified species rather than broken up as we've been lately.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and then the one, I think about the world as infinite possibilities, infinite potential. And this is just one symbol from my life that I've experienced. And I think, my art can be a way for other people to think about other symbols or experiences that they might find with other people.
Absolutely. Well, Zakriya, I really appreciate you so much and how you've made this bridge between Carbondale Arts and Anderson Ranch. I know we have a couple other artists that we'll talk about later who are coming, and I'm just so grateful that you have brought them along with you. I think we've got, at least 2-3 others that came from Anderson Ranch. So I want to thank you again for forming that bridge and
absolutely
participating and sharing your beautiful art with us. Any last things that you wanted to share?
I thank you, Barbara, for all your help and communications, and Amy, everyone at the Carbondale Arts facility, all the 7 amazing women, the strong team that have come together to create this opportunity. And I'm just so stoked just to be a part of it and to help. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. We look forward to having you.